They were suffering because they have so much power. That's their business. But the thing is, 10 days to worry about it.
I don't know if we have enough bandwidth.
20
Good evening. I'd like to call the Maysville Board of Commissioners Tuesday, June the 12th to order. We will begin with our invocation. Reverend.
Father, I come before you and I thank you for this privilege, this opportunity to be able to lift up to you this great community. We thank you for the opportunity to pray for our leadership and to pray for our citizens, pray for all of those that are represented here today. We just pray that your blessings be upon this meeting. We pray that you grant wisdom and understanding to each of those involved. Father, we just pray that your peace and your comfort be extended to each of us that are here today. We ask these things in Christ's name. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Lease. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes.
Commissioner Cartmel?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
Here.
Commissioner McKay?
Here.
Mayor Cotterill?
Yes, ma'am.
City Manager Wallingford?
Here.
City Attorney Cottle?
Here.
HR Director Rose?
Here.
Project Coordinator Horde?
Here.
Public Works Director King? Police Chief Palmer?
Here.
Utility Manager Spence?
Jeff's here.
Zoning Administrator Larger?
Here.
Building Inspector Fawcett?
Here.
Codes Officer Brooks? Tourism Director Bailey? Main Street Director Reese?
Here. Thank you, Lisa. Minutes of the May 8th, 27th, and June 6th, and department reports.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Cartmel?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner McKay?
Yes.
Mayor Cotterill?
Yes, ma'am. Public announcements.
Caroline, you got anything? You just wait. You got public comment. Yeah.
Let's
You
just
got
move
anything?
on to public comment.
Okay.
That's fine.
I'm
no rules
teasing.
here. That's fine.
You good? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Lamont.
Come on up,
Is
Lamont.
it okay, man?
I think so. I know.
Tonight I'm here to represent the YMCA instead of my other parts I have in the community. We, as the YMCA, have started a project called Mini Maysville, Mason County. What this is going to be an indoor playhouse facility for children from 3 months up to 13. Inside of these facilities is going to be 16 to 19 build-outs, which is going to be constructed by a local contractor. Those build-outs are going to be unique. Reason why is we have reached out to different public companies, organizations within the community. Mason County Health Department has already committed. We have Pepsi, G&J Pepsi has committed. Stover, all of these companies have already committed to our project. So what is going to make this so unique is those companies are going to have a build out of what they give to the community of Maysville. As I joined the YMCA in October, this was my first project that I had to take on. So I am very thrilled about this project. As most of you know, I've been here in Maysville most of my life. I have dealt with most of you guys in the room at some aspect of life. So this project is not just a project that normally comes to you guys. To me, it means something. So I want this to work. So I also want to work with everyone that invested. Like Mr. McKay has worked with me about, instead of painting everything, we're going to wrap. That's going to be long lasting. It's going to be easier for me and my staff to take care of when we have the little rooms running in and out. So I just gave each commissioner a brochure and a letter. If you guys are interested or you know any business that may be interested, please give me a call. My contact information is in the brochure. If you have any questions, I've already presented to Mr. McKay. I'm sure he will tell you what's going to happen, but I am more welcome to come back and speak with you guys on an individual basis or as a group. And I appreciate you giving me a few minutes to speak, and thank you.
Thank you, Lamont. Thank you.
Does anybody have any questions for Lamont?
Well, is it the meeting?
Yes.
Okay.
Caroline, we couldn't hear what you asked.
Yeah, say it again,
I
Caroline.
wanted to make sure I asked him first, just because I have to go through this all the time. And you say mini, we're not talking about miniature, for those of you who don't have the brochure. It's like a mini little
It's a
Maysville.
mini little Maysville. So like, there is a place I'm visiting in Crescent Springs, Kentucky that has already.
Or the Cincinnati Museum
The
Center.
Cincinnati Museum is a perfect example. There's also a place in Ashland. So as I visit these places and ask questions, finding out the safety and ins and outs, I felt like, why couldn't we do it here? Why does our family, friends have to travel to go to different places? And we can have it right here in Maysville.
What is, Lamont, what's the average cost of one of the?
The average cost of a build out, which
Yeah.
includes, items for the kids to play with, painting and all that, is about $5,000.
Okay.
And that's where the company that gives back, say, for instance, again, the health department, they were the very first ones. So I will be, once I get it all constructed, I will be working with whoever Mr. McKay appoints
Okay.
to make sure it's exactly how he wants it or how his board wants it. So that's how it works.
And so like I don't want to speak
Oh,
on
you're
it,
fine.
like the health department, I would imagine it would have like little things to play doctor. They'd have a little doctor bag, and you would go and have examining tables, and it would be all health related. And then if you had a little stober, you would have, like little tools and little wrenches to make the gearboxes that Stober makes. And so it's a small version, or if you had a little Kroger, of course there'd be a grocery store. You know how people like to do that with carts and the plastic food and set out the tables and so like that. So that's how it represents the area. I had to go to so many of those when my children were small. I knew it, and I thought, for those of you who didn't have the brochure, it might be hard to picture. Great idea, great idea.
Thank you, Lamont. Any other public comment or public announcements? Okay. Next, we have the Mike Thomas Art Scholarships. And do you want to do that presentation? Come up, please.
Hi, I'm Lauren Lax, and this is the second annual Maysville Mason County Arts Scholarship in honor of Mike Thomas. And the award winner of the scholarship
And
is Mr.
Lauren
Ethan
is
Lee.
the chair of the Arts Commission.
Yes, I am chair of Art Commission. So, Mr. Lee, well done. It was a unanimous vote for this voice from our town. Ethan's going to attend the University of Cincinnati Conservatory of Music.
Very nice.
And I don't know if you would like to say anything to the city?
Thank you. Sing us a song.
This might be nice for the photograph. This is your check. And this is that.
Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you, congrats.
Very good.
Thank you.
Well done, Mom.
Next, I'd like to move item number 14 up and have an update on the Hazelwood Hospital project and from Buffalo Trace. And Haley is here to do that for us.
Yeah, hello everyone. I am Kaylee Ziegler from Buffalo Trace Ad, if you do not know me. So we're working on the Hazelwood Hospital Brownfield redevelopment project. So just going to give a little update, won't take up too much of your time, and then some announcements about what we've got coming up. So first I kind of wanted to give like a statement, because I've heard a lot of questions and maybe some things that aren't quite right about the project. So this project, again, as I mentioned, it's an EPA, it's a brownfields cleanup project. So it's for the cleanup of the building, it's not for the redevelopment of the building. So the building will end up cleaned, but it won't be fully renovated when it's done. So I kind of wanted to make that general statement. I think most of us are aware, but so as far as the schedule goes, the project is going really smoothly. They've been in there cleaning up since March the 12th, I believe, was the first day that they removed the asbestos. and the top 3 floors have been completed. So the 4th floor, the 3rd floor, and then there's a floor they call the penthouse. I'm not sure which one that is, because I think it's not on the front part of the building. It's the back portion. It's kind of a weird building if you're familiar with it. But the top 3 floors is what we're going to call. So they're already cleaned up and cleared. So the cleanup is ahead of schedule as far as, you know, the total time that they have to do the project. It's far ahead. And then actually this week, Frontier Housing has brought an architect in, and they are actually scanning the building with LiDAR, if you're familiar with that technology. And they're using those scans to just go ahead and start on their end of the project, which is redevelopment. But again, that's not going to be this part of the project. So that's all I have kind of for updates. Does anybody have questions about the project in general? How it's going?
Are you gonna be at the open house?
Yeah, I'm getting ready to.
Oh,
Are
okay,
you talking about Pickers and Grinners?
okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna mention
All right.
Kelly, what would you say is the anticipated finish date for that project? Do they have anything in mind there?
Yeah, they think they'll be done, like, by the time fall comes around, they'll be done with cleanup.
Okay.
Like, yeah, but not necessarily the project
Sure.
being completely closed out, but as far as, yeah, contractor work being done, yeah,
Great.
by the fall.
So just to clarify, what Kaylee's talking about being not the completing the project or completing the building, remodeling, it's just the clean out. But be assured that the other part, like
Yes.
with the architects, is ongoing too. And I actually talked with Tom today, and he said that he felt pretty good about things, being able to apply for the tax credits this year to get the funding to do the housing project, so.
Yeah, so Frontier, their ultimate goal, they will redevelop the building. We just want to be clear that there's 2 different sources of funding, as the mayor mentioned, that project, or that part of the project will be later on down the line, just so everyone is aware of what this is going to accomplish, which we're still very excited about, don't get me wrong, but it's not going to be move-in ready by the fall of this year, just clean. And so then, as Commissioner Cartmel was mentioning, we're going to do things a little differently. We've had community meetings. We've had one here. We've also had one at the Cox Building. This month, we're going to do them a little bit differently. We're going to have a booth at Pickers and Grinners, which is on June 21st. BTAD and Frontier Housing are going to be there from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. So we're not going to be there for the whole thing, but we'll be there for a good portion. And the goal for this is to be more discussion oriented. So anyone who stops by, we can just have a conversation with them. They can ask whatever questions they have. We'll have maps and photos of the inside of the building, which I think will be a big hit. I know everyone likes to see the inside. And then we'll also have like a comment box so people can leave whatever comments, questions, suggestions they may have.
Would you repeat that time frame again?
Yes, that will be from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on the 21st. And then for more information, we have on our website, which is just www.btad.com, we have a whole page dedicated to the Hazelwood project. It has a fact sheet, it has a newsletter, it has, we're going to put photos up, and it has all the information you need on there. It also has minutes from past community meetings, and then Frontier also has a page dedicated to Hazelwood on their website as well. And then lastly, I wanted to mention that we also BTAD hosts the Community Involvement Plan, which is a large document that outlines everything that we have planned for the community involvement aspect of the project. And so we host that on our website, but we also have a physical copy of it at city offices, at the fiscal court, at the Mason County Library, and at the Housing Authority. So that's all I have.
So you're not gonna have a neighborhood public walkthrough then?
No.
All right.
I don't know that the contractor would want to allow that, but yeah. All right. Any questions? Yeah. Thank you guys.
Thanks, Kaylee.
Thank you. Appointments and reappointments. Millicent Harding Thomas to to replace Marla Tonkery on the unexpired term on the Convention and Visitors Bureau, and Tammy White reappointed to the River Port Authority, term to expire 5/31/29.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Cartwell?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner McKay?
Yes.
Mayor Cottrell?
Yes, ma'am. Appointments, Utility Department.
You didn't get the updated utilities not on.
I didn't know if he had other ones now, or all of them gonna be later.
No, there's not,
No, just no utility.
there's no utility department.
Okay, sorry.
It's cemetery, I guess would be next.
Appointments, Cemetery.
I would like to recommend Darren Black to fill the position of laborer with Maysville Cemetery. Darren was hired as a seasonal laborer and has shown great work ethic and responsibility at the cemetery. With this vacancy, I feel Darren is the best choice for the position.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Cartwell?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner McKay?
Yes.
Mayor Cottrell?
Yes, ma'am. Appointment, Transit.
I would like to recommend Chance Clements to fill the position of paratransit driver for Maysville Public Works Department.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Cartwell?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner McKay?
Yes.
Mayor Cottrell?
Yes, ma'am. Discussion, fire grant for personnel.
Brian, are you aware of this one very much? I know Chief Carpenter is, he's in Lexington for the KFA board meeting. He wasn't able to make it. Yeah, what is it, Brian? For the personnel? Yeah, come on up a little bit, if you wanna just briefly mention what that is.
So Safer Grant, it's a grant that comes out to supply additional employees to a fire department. You can put in for the grant, if you get accepted, they pay so much, I can't quote me on the numbers here, but they pay so much the first year, so much the second year, so much the third year. And it kinda helps the city break up the big hit at first, employing firefighters. So if you would get this, and then you get it for us, the first year, maybe they may pay the whole salary. Second year, they may pay 75% of the salary. Third year, they may pay 50% of the salary. I don't know the exact numbers on that, but that's the model of it, that's how it works.
Okay.
It's really, if you get it, I mean, it saves the city a lot of money, so.
What is the due date on that, Brian?
I'm not sure
Okay,
what
that's
it
okay.
is.
Okay. Okay. But Chief Carpenter wanted to bring that up to y'all to see if that's something you might be willing to pursue.
Okay.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thanks, Brian. Appreciate it.
Fine.
Do we need?
No, it's just discussion, Mayor. No, ma'am.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Is he on his honeymoon?
No, he's in Lexington for a
Oh,
KFA
okay.
board meeting. If you want to call that his honeymoon.
Okay, I was curious.
Discussion, summer cleanup.
Luke and I have talked a little bit. We're looking at putting dumpsters out on Friday, July 11th, and picking them up on Monday, July 21st. We'll also have appliance drop-offs at Public Works and Forest Avenue. Does that sound good to everybody at work? Okay. Get with me as we get closer, and we'll get a post out.
Thank you. Discussion, chipper operations.
Luke, come on up. You come on. You can stay on this side if you want. Whatever you want to do. We got a mic here. You're good.
Okay, so Matt and I have talked about the chipper and the efficiency of how we're doing things. Currently, I think things could be a lot better efficiency-wise, and with our pickups, I feel like we do miss a lot of things, but there's factors on why we miss things. The chipper being down, clogging the chipper, things that we don't usually pick up, we're picking up, extended amount of time at an area. So we're looking at, to get better efficiency, we're looking at doing 4 days a week and doing a call-in system on we have a route system right now. So we would stay on the route system, but they would have to call in if they have a pickup. So that way, like right now, you know, if we run the route on the east end, there's some areas that won't have any brush. So we're still driving and looking, but there's nothing there. And I've got the chipper route that they run, let's say on Wednesday, they clocked each stop. They had 45 stops on one route. And that's, throughout the whole day. It takes them all day to do it. So if they finished at 2:15. If they have really any more than probably 50, it's going to push them over into the next day. But, a lot of that time is driving from, one subdivision to the next. If there's nothing there, then we're going to the next one. So it would probably speed things up a little better. Plus, we would know that the brush is set out. Sometimes, small enough piles, they don't see it, so they drive past. And we do miss things. We try very hard not to, but, we do miss stuff. So it would be a lot better if we just had a notification calling in saying, hey, I got some brush. That way we could come and pick it up. So.
I think that's a good
I
idea.
do too. And save you gas, save you
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, and to give you a little info on, what we're running. So 50 miles is, that would be the east end. It was 50 miles in one day that they drove. 25 gallons of diesel. So over that span of time, we could probably cut that down, if we're just hitting the areas that we know have brush. And Matt and I've talked about getting the word out to people. I think a lot of times people don't know when their route is, what day it's on. So Wednesdays are typically the east end downtown. Most people, if they don't know, they'll set their brush out at 3:30 on Wednesday, and we won't get it until next Wednesday. So if we have to get it the next day, then that pulls us off the other route. So then we're just kind of running all over the place. So
It's something we'd like to try. Let's see, this is the middle of June. Say do a massive PR campaign for the next 6 weeks and start it maybe August 1st, social media, website, radio, newspaper, but then also maybe a dozen to 2 dozen signs around town that people can see that says, hey, if you're on Navajo Drive, please call on Tuesdays or Wednesdays. Your route day is on Thursdays.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, just kind of pepper that. And again, I think the goal here is to try to become more efficient. And maybe we're back here next year and it's not working, and we try something else.
we have a lot of calls for missed stuff, and a lot of the times it's either, sometimes we miss it. A lot of the times it's not the day of the route. So we've got people calling on Wednesday's route on Thursday for the brush pickup. So, we go back and get it, on different days, but it kind of pulls us from other areas too. So something else I wanted to mention too, we have sat down and talked about restrictions on what goes in the chipper and things like that. Just one for maintenance of the chipper, 2 for time constraints. Grass, leaves, vines, and nothing over 6 inches in diameter. So the first 3 there, grass, leaves, and vines, the reason why we don't want to put them in there, as soon as they put them in, it'll clog it up. Then we've got to go back to the shop, unclog it, and take it back out. So really that stuff we would like to be in a bag. We can get it, we do a fall cleanup of leaves, stuff like that, grass, clippings. The 6 inch in diameter, really we're just looking at maintenance of the equipment. If we stick anything in there larger than that, it could cause issues. Other than that, that's really all I got.
So if they have just like weeds they've pulled from the flower bed, you'd want that bagged?
Yeah, and that could go with your regular trash.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Anything that really could fit in a garbage bag, that's not tree trimmings or shrubs or anything like that.
You mentioned you want, when something comes out of the chipper, it needs to be wood chips.
When it's ground up, it needs to be wood chips. That's really the simplest way I can put it.
Yeah.
If it's vines, grass, some people have that tall grass and stuff.
Yeah.
If we run it through there, it'll be clogged up and, the next round, so.
Is this a new chipper?
It's fairly new. It's not anywhere. I mean, I've been here almost 3 years now, and it was purchased probably 5-6 years ago.
Okay.
We are looking to get, another one, but anyway, we currently just have one chipper running, so if any breakdowns do happen, we're, out for a day. So, anyway, thank you.
Thank you, Luke.
Thanks, Luke.
Resolution authorizing matching funds for FEMA FY 25 PSGP Grant 25-24.
Resolution authorizing FEMA Port Security Grant application. Be it resolved by the City of Maysville, Kentucky, that the mayor is hereby authorized and directed to execute an application for FEMA Port Security Grant, and upon receiving said grant, the mayor is further authorized and directed to execute any and all documents necessary for acceptance of said grant. It is further resolved that the city will supply matching funds as needed.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Cartmel?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner McKay?
Yes.
Mayor Cottrell?
Yes, ma'am. Resolution authorizing master agreement with Allied Services 25-25.
Resolution authorizing master agreement with Allied Services. Be it resolved by the City of Maysville, Kentucky, that the mayor is hereby authorized and directed to execute the master services agreement with Allied Technical Services, Inc. Make that motion? Not doing. Probably not doing that. Second.
It's 17.
Roll call.
I'm sorry, I missed them.
Andrew made the motion and David seconded.
Sorry, I'm distracted.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Cartmel?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner McKay? Mayor Cottrell?
Yes, ma'am. Resolution authorizing a lease agreement with Geno's Taxi 25-26.
Resolution authorizing renewal lease with Geno's Taxi LLC. Be it resolved by the City of Maysville, Kentucky, that the mayor is hereby authorized and directed to execute a renewal lease with Geno's Taxi LLC for the property located at 1425 East 2nd Street, Maysville, Kentucky. Monthly rent will continue to be paid in the amount of $475 per month.
So moved.
Second.
Second for discussion. Is there been any raise in that rent? Or,
No, just like all of our other ones, we haven't raised anything
okay,
for any of our buildings for a while.
well, except the big buildings.
No, those were raised in 2006. From $6.75 a square foot, no, $4.75 a square foot to $9.50 a square foot.
I wonder if we ought to have an annual percentage raise on those instead of visiting it every, 15 years or 20
We can
years or
definitely
whatever.
take a look at that. We can take a look at that, yeah. I'm sorry.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Cartmel?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner McKay?
Yes.
Mayor Cottrell?
Yes, ma'am. Resolution proclaiming Lafayette Day 25-27.
Resolution proclaiming Lafayette Day. Whereas on May 21st, 1825, General Lafayette arrived in Maysville by steamboat as part of his tour across the 24 states, and whereas Maysville hosted a welcoming celebration which included a procession from Limestone Landing to Captain Langhorne's Hotel for dinner, and whereas there are historical markers in Maysville denoting the site of Lafayette's visit and the celebratory events, now therefore be it resolved by the City of Maysville, Kentucky, that May 21st, 2025 is General Lafayette Day.
Thank you.
So moved.
I'll make that motion.
All right.
David has
Okay,
moved.
second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Cartwell?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
We.
Commissioner McKay?
We.
Mayor
Thank you.
Cottrell?
In honor of General Lafayette, I thought it was
Yes.
appropriate.
Ordinance amending Code of Ordinances, Chapter 70.175, Controller, second reading, 25-04.
An ordinance amending section 70.175, appointment and qualifications, comptroller. Summary, this ordinance amends City of Maysville Code of Ordinances, section 70.175, appointment and qualifications of comptroller to delete language that makes comptroller an administrative assistant to the city manager and treasurer and finance administrator of the Maysville Utility Commission. It further adds language that allows for someone that is a high school graduate with a minimum of 10 years' experience in government, accounting, and/or finance to serve as comptroller.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Cartwell?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner McKay?
Yes.
Mayor Cottrell?
No. Before we go to budget session, we're going to have a closed
Once you
session. But before I read that, I wanted to see if there was anything else that needed to come before the commission. Okay. Closed session pursuant to KRS 61.8101F, discussion which might lead to the appointment of an individual employee.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes.
Commissioner Cartwell?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner McKay?
Yes.
Mayor Cottrell?
Yes, ma'am.
Real quick, Luke.
say I could go get them fired.
I will entertain a motion to come back into session.
I'll make that motion, Lisa.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Cartmel?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner McKay? Mayor Cottrell?
Yes, ma'am. Appointment,
This is from Public Works Director King. I would like to recommend Chris Shelton to fill the position of mechanic for the City of Maysville Public Works.
So moved.
Second.
roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Cartmel?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner McKay?
Yes.
Mayor Cottrell?
Yes, ma'am. Budget workshop, Mr. Wallingford?
Yes, ma'am. Everybody should have received a updated budget overview sheet. There's two of them there. I was able to sit down with Jeff and David yesterday, yeah, and we went through the utility budget. And I believe I mentioned to you the last time we met that transfer from the city would probably go up, and it did. So when we looked at their budget and this includes everything that they would want to do, and we'll get to all that stuff. That would be a $4.5 million transfer from the city. So at that point, that would put us at a deficit of roughly $12.9 million. And if you look on the back sheet there, Mayor and Commissioners, first there is a typo where it says FY23, that should be FY25. But I will say where it says currently we have approximately $15.5 million, that's closer to 14 million because about $1.5 million of that, maybe a little bit more, is ARPA money. And then when you look at the very bottom, obviously, the governmental fund deficit is due to $4.5 million transfer to the utility department. And I looked at all of the capital requests and I made some changes there. Obviously, I took out the fire engine that Kyle's taken out for next year. Some of the things that Luke's gonna do, that he's doing already. But that actually reduces to around $2.4 million. Roughly, for everything. So, again, we have to, is that $12.9 million gonna happen? No, it's not. We have to prepare that it is. It won't. So, you have to sit there and go, okay, $12.9 million deficit, 13 million, and we have 14 million in reserves. That's not good. That's not good. Let's come back to this. Does everybody have their correct book?
Yeah.
All right, if you guys don't mind, please turn to tab number 2, which would be the engineering budget. I'd like to go down through here and get a consensus on projects. And obviously David's here. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. The first one is the generator contract. And because what I need to do is, I need to know yes or no so that I can start adjusting the numbers in the actual categories in the budget. Now, if you recall, David ranked his projects. He ranked 6 roughly. Limestone Creek rebuild was number 1. Public Works emergency management roof was number 2. Flood wall spalling repair work was number 3. And then Cox Building windows 1st and 3rd floor was 6. So generator contract, there at the top. Consensus, and that was for.
That's something we do every year, basically.
Well, that's probably, if we do that every year, it's in there.
Yeah.
Ignore that one. That should be in there already.
The generator for
Station 2, okay, generator for fire station 2.
That was something that we just don't have. It's another alternate site, I think, if our other sites aren't available, whether, EOC or Public Works too, or, Tony's out there, if something happens to those, that's a generator to operate that facility.
So, at Fire Station 2, so do we have one at the EOC?
Yes. Public Works City.
And we have one at the police department.
Correct. Which would be the secondary, where's Tom?
So you're
Yeah.
saying we
Secondary
could use
location.
those? Is that what you're saying, we could use those?
No,
You're not
no,
saying what you
no,
say.
they're permanent. We would have to get one, in order to have emergency power at Fire Station 2 on Kid Station Road.
Can we put a question mark there and then come back to that?
Okay?
Yeah, I'm not sure this is the budget for that.
Public Works 2, emergency management roof. That is the EOC. If we have a problem with that roof and it gets into Tony's stuff, we're gonna have a problem.
I think we don't, that's not an option. We have to do it.
I'm seeing 2. Oh, yeah,
I
no, go
mean,
ahead, can you say?
Dave, well, I'm just saying David put it as number 2, so it obviously was important.
Yeah, it is.
So that's why I didn't
It's
say.
very important. It's the middle section of the roof, and
Yeah,
that's most important.
so we're saying that's in?
I would highly recommend it, yeah. I mean, that's, if we're looking at problems, if all of his equipment and everything gets damaged in
Yeah.
from something.
I marked it in.
Okay, Kenton Commonwealth Building, HVAC work. That's the one unit we didn't do
That's
when we
one
did
of
the
the
energy
units.
savings project.
That needs to be, it's gonna have to be, it's either going to have a lot of work done on or replaced, and it's really more efficient to replace it.
Is it working well now?
It's working okay as far as the air, but the heat is not at all.
I
No
don't think
heat
we
in the
have a
whole
choice.
building? No heat in the whole building?
There's
Certain
seven,
sections.
Section?
there's 7 up there.
Well, I don't think there's a choice on
That's
that.
one of
That's
them.
income producing though, too, so why not?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I say yes on that. So that's in?
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, that's in. West Third Street roadway repair, didn't we discuss that we had that?
Yeah.
That was already, okay, that's already in.
This is in?
Yeah, it's already in as operational. Garage doors at Public Works 2.
That's the remaining doors.
We talk about that every year, have we?
Well, I've
Pretty much.
replaced them, we've done them 2 years.
Yeah.
I've tried to put it in phases, so this is on the part that we haven't done yet. This will be finishing it up. And that's basically on the part that Tony now utilizes.
Can we do the ones you've marked and then come back and go over the ones that,
Oh, you talking about the priorities he has?
yes, the
Oh,
priorities?
okay, yeah, that's fine.
And then we can add or
Okay,
delete from
Limestone
that.
Creek Pump Station, rebuild pump. That's his priority.
That's
That's-
in.
I mean, that's, it needs to be.
It's critical.
Let's go down, flood wall spalling repair work, $50,000, that was number 3.
And that's something that's in the report every year, that we work on that, from the Corps of Engineers, that leaves our flood wall at minimally acceptable.
Which we'll never get above.
We'll never get above that.
But we have to be there to stay in the rehabilitation improvement program in order to get more $10 million
So the
Army
word-
Corps projects.
So that's
available
an in,
for-
right?
And to keep our flood rate
Yeah,
downtown.
so that's an in.
Everybody else okay with that one being in? All right. Cox Building windows, 1st and 3rd floor.
Yeah, we've got several that are in really bad shape, rotting, the wood part, the caulking, that need to be repaired or replaced in several areas. So, and that's, I think that's really a
So
critical.
is this the total cost of everything?
Well, that's to repair, the ones that I've seen.
But that's
Probably-
also, Dave, is that the 2 windows downstairs on the
windows
1st floor?
I'm probably gonna go on and do them.
Oh, before, okay.
Yeah, because.
Okay, so you can get those done now.
And this
So
budget,
do you think that 25 would,
that'll be for the
Okay.
third, second,
okay,
you know.
all the other ones?
Now, Dave,
I'm
is
thinking
that
up
was
to-
double pane,
What's that?
the glass?
Well, it just depends on what we go with, but I would like to go with that, yes.
Well, it save a lot of money on heating.
Yeah, they're single right now, and that's all we have. These will be a different type of window, yes.
Well, I just know if you don't fix it, we got problems
And
with
that
the Lee
building's our
House
crown
with
jewel.
some of the windows, it's been rebuilt, and we put them in, the woods is bad.
Yeah, they're not very good.
We've got a
Weather
nice building,
side.
let's keep it nice.
Yeah, I say,
And it goes back to what Commissioner McKay said earlier, you know, that is an income producing.
yeah, I'm an in on that.
Okay, let's go back to the top. Garage doors, Public Works 2.
I'm in favor of that.
If I remember correctly, that was a safety issue.
Yeah, the worst part is, these doors aren't raised as much as the other ones, but they've got glass in them. And they're all panes of glass when they're raised up and down. That was the biggest concern, was the safety problem when they are up and down. If somebody's under them,
David, can I ask you, the ones that's left, which one do you think's the next most important?
well. Are you doing anything with your camera system?
We're still waiting on the grant information to come back. I mean, we put in for a grant for some of this stuff, but we haven't got the response back.
Well, safety-wise, camera system or those doors, I mean, sometimes when we need cameras, we've got several cameras, but we have some problems.
They
But I
need to
don't
be,
know
it needs to be uniform. The cameras, it needs to be a uniform camera system. We might have a Rio link here and a different kind here. But then a centralized location at dispatch with a nice 60, 80-inch TV, whatever.
The grant, they looked at two 260
Yeah,
screens.
so that dispatch, somebody calls in, hey, there's something going on here. Dispatch immediately looks up and goes, okay, officer such and such, I got the person running down Mulberry Street or whatever. You know, that's what we're looking at.
Well, and we're having a lot of issues now, even like outside the flood wall with the graffiti that's been going up every day, and,
The garage doors, we might be able to pull out a public building maintenance with.
Okay.
So,
Might be able to finagle that one.
yeah, the camera, if he doesn't get it, I think that's a very.
I think that's
I
important.
think it's
I'm
important.
sorry.
Yeah.
I think it is. So the cameras are in, right?
That would,
Hold on. What do you all think? I got one here, one, so you're shaking your head.
Yeah.
You're shaking, okay.
what
So
about?
what you have left is you've got, working on the parking lot under the Simon Kenton Bridge, Cox Building HVAC work, seal and stripe Maple Leaf Road, handicap sidewalk repairs, I believe that's in operational.
that's it.
Yeah. And then the garage doors at Public Works.
So what about the Cox building, air conditioning?
That's for, the government, Kenton Common.
No,
No,
that's Cox Building. We already looked at Commonwealth.
Cox Building.
Yeah, that's Cox
HVAC,
Building.
Yeah, we've got another unit that's bad on it, too. It's a 12-year-old, 13-year-old unit.
What, the original that we
Yeah.
redid the building.
And that's one of 6. On the second, it's situated on the second floor, actually, but it's in bad shape, it needs to be replaced. Yeah.
So are you saying
And that's
that's
another,
next?
yeah, it doesn't heat.
I'm saying, are you saying that's an in or an out?
That needs to be in, if I don't put it in, if we don't cover it under building maintenance. If we raise, but it's one way or the other, you either raise the building maintenance or, it's not figured in there now, so that's why it's a capital.
Is there no heat on the second floor at all?
Well,
I mean, we're talking heat.
not very good. That's where we had problems this year.
That's Caroline.
Well, she knows.
Yeah, Caroline?
She knows we had problems with the unit.
Yeah, at the top and the water getting in and rotting and the curtains and, yeah. Other than that, it's in great shape.
So you've got that one, and the garage doors, Public Works too.
So between those two, which one do you think's?
Probably
Probably
the
the HVAC.
Yeah, the HVAC.
But you can find money to replace those doors.
I think so.
Okay.
You guys okay with that?
Yeah.
Township Building HVAC, okay. What about seal and stripe Maple Leaf or work at the parking lot under the bridge? It's gonna be our responsibility to seal and stripe that path. I mean, the state's not gonna do it.
So,
I-
but
And
the
I don't know
parking lot under the
If
bridge
we
is
do the,
terrible.
It is, now, he
It's
had a
bad.
great event there, and
Yeah,
if
it's
we do
bad.
the parking lot under the bridge, I think the seal and stripe, I can get in
and you're,
the one we've adjusted a little bit.
okay.
Thank
I would say the parking lot, cause it's bad shape.
It is,
That'd be good.
okay. All right. Last one was fire training building, pave and seal, concrete work.
Brian can tell you how bad that is.
Yeah.
Out back, it's real bad. That's where, and we've got doors on both sides of the building now, and emergency vehicles going through. It's the back side of the building that really needs the attention. It was never done. The base coat was put on, but the surface was never put on. And they do a lot of training, a lot of exercises, a lot of people from out of town there, classes.
Now, don't forget,
Yep.
we're thinking of the generator
Right.
too for the
Yeah.
fire station,
Well,
so don't.
That's for that one, but if we're not gonna do that, then if we're gonna pick one of the two, then let's
So,
pick.
well, let's pick one of the
Yeah.
two here on this. Which one is best?
It needs to be done. Let's do the paving.
What
We-
about the
we can-
generator?
We could pull a portable generator if that come to that, in there, if we had to.
Okay,
Is everybody okay with that parking lot?
so we're saying paving,
Yeah, okay, all right. I think that's it. Yes,
Okay.
okay, thanks, Dave.
Dave, before you go, are we finished with Jersey Ridge for this year?
For this year, the rest of it'll be next paving season.
Okay.
Which we're gonna be doing, letting the contract in September. If they have time, they may, if it's approved, then
Okay.
now I wanna mark my book here, so you're saying the generator at fire station, we could possibly pull a generator?
they can. And that mainly was, if something would happen as far as a disaster, the police station, Tony's building, we've got another place to
Okay.
actually
The
operate.
garage doors, you're gonna try to,
I'm gonna try to work that out of our maintenance budget.
Thank you, David.
Thanks, Dave. All right, next tab 3 is code enforcement. Now, one of the things I posed to you all, we've typically put in the past several years, $40,000 for demolition. About possibly increasing that and utilizing some contractor work to get a little bit more done.
How much are you thinking?
I would recommend, another 20 or 25. Doesn't mean we're gonna use it, but if we could get caught up, and we've got several that are on the list, we could use some of our crews and maybe contract out some of the structures.
so how much you saying?
I would add, 20,
60,
60,
65.
60 or 65, yeah, 20 to 25 I think would be helpful. Is that okay with everybody?
Yeah.
Okay. And the other stuff is, that's all covered in there.
Okay.
Would you explain
Yes.
that again? What are we talking about? I can't tell from the sheet.
The demolition of dilapidated structures,
Oh,
yeah, tab 3,
that's not in my book.
basically raising it, Andrew, from 40,000 to 65.
Okay.
And possibly utilizing some contractors to
Okay, we talked-
bidding out some of the projects.
Yeah, we talked about this before.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Yeah. Okay, next page, not tab, but next page. Caitlin is at a conference. She's looking at tables. They're on the first page at a cost of about $10,300. And again, she has approximately $197,000 in her contingency fund. And on the page behind that is the acquisition of a golf cart, 8-seat golf cart, for approximately $21,000. And again, she does have the funding to do it. If you recall what she mentioned to you in regards to the tables, they are lighter. They're plastic, may not have to utilize Luke and his crews as much to move for setups.
I can vouch for the difference those plastic tables make. They're sturdy and easy and light and easy to
Well, and the
fold.
other thing, and I was moving one of those wooden tables, banging into walls,
Yeah.
you're less apt to damage with the plastic than you would be the wood and the metal tables.
Well,
So-
and I would suggest, I know that since she has that much in reserves, to really look, because she was thinking to buy part of the tables this year and part of the tables next year.
See what she had, yeah.
See what discounts she could get for quantity or shipping cost,
Okay,
and evaluate that to get the best value.
okay. How is everybody with those two requests in the tourism department? I mean, we have the money.
Yeah, that's
It wouldn't come out of the general fund or anything. Okay.
That's
All
what
right.
she's got in
Yeah,
her.
yes, ma'am. Okay, I'm gonna put check marks there. All right, tab number 4, please. That would be MFD.
What about Main Street?
Oh, was it on that one? Was it on tab 3?
Yeah.
Oh, it is, I'm sorry, excuse me. Sorry, Caroline.
Yeah.
Caroline was asking for $50,000 to do a building improvement grant program in the Main Street District. 50-50 match up to $10,000 max.
Only in the Main Street
I
district?
like that,
We're
but
not gonna
couldn't you do
expand that.
5?
That's up to you all. I mean, that was her request in the Main Street District. Now, you know, obviously the other one we've done is a facade program for residential homes anywhere in the city. And
What do you mean 5?
I don't mean I don't mind the 50, but I think the total grant should be 5,000. I mean, to serve more people.
Well, and they can
it
apply.
could be 5,000. It's not saying, David, that she's only gonna get 5 projects. That's the max. But,
Yeah, some projects might only be an $8,000 project.
or
Or
2,000.
Okay.
a $2,000 project, we're
Yeah.
only out 4.
Right.
I'd like it, so it doesn't come down to the end of the year and you're saying, hey, would you like the 10,000? I mean, you know,
Oh, it goes like that,
okay, good,
don't worry about it.
okay.
No, they'll be
But going
good.
back to Commissioner McKay's question, do you all wanna do a residential facade program? And if I recall, those were up to $2,000 and they were 80-20.
That's exactly right.
They were 80-20.
We had a lot of people
Oh,
paint
yeah,
the
oh, yeah.
houses in downtown and fix windows. I've not.
And that was
done
for, that was just strictly for residential homes.
Right, it was.
Anywhere in the city,
But a lot of
Washington,
people
here,
applied for
whatever.
Yeah, was that for rental property too?
No.
No.
You had to own it.
You had to own the property.
Okay,
You have
good.
to own the property
All
and
right.
live there, obviously, yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta live at the property,
Okay,
own it and live there.
I like that program too.
I like that.
It's a certain amount you all like.
Don't take that.
250.
250,000?
No.
Okay. You wanna match that, go 50? I mean,
Yes.
that's, you know, that's
Yeah.
not bad.
It's
That's a
just,
possibility of 25 projects.
it's just a proven domino effect of when somebody in the neighborhood gets it,
Then
and the neighbor,
somebody else
and up
will
the
do it.
street, and up
Okay.
the street.
So if you guys don't mind, I'm gonna throw that over to code enforcement. I'm gonna put 50,000 there for a facade program.
What number?
Sure, remember that. 50K residential facade. Okay. Tab 4,
Hold
Got
on.
a couple other things on.
Oh, that would be to increase the fireworks, Fourth of July budget from
Everybody's good with that?
15,000 to 5,000.
Everybody good with that?
That was the yeah,
All right,
From 15 to
from 15 to 20, I'm sorry.
That won't be much
Yeah,
of a
just
display.
because cost, and she has a very successful Fourth of July.
So we're okay on this, is that what
Yeah,
you think?
yeah. So going over to fire, obviously on that first one there, take $1 million off, as we talked the last time. 450 would handle equipment for the boat and the new engine.
So now we got a new tool,
I'm sorry.
450,000.
Yeah, that's for equipment for the boat and for the new engine that we would get next
ambulance,
August.
New,
ambulance.
Ambulance.
new boat,
Yeah, oh yeah.
an ambulance?
Mhm.
So that's just it for the fire department?
Yeah. Hold on a second.
Well, I was thinking you had something else in there.
Dodge, Durango, SUVs, whatever happened, get the little electric cars, damn petrol.
I take that back. That was, we actually upped that, what's an ambulance, 250? Does that sound right?
I think we're pushing 350.
Three. I believe we put 750 in there instead of the 450, because we did talk about the ambulance the last time. 450 would cover our portion that we owe on the boat, our match on the boat,
And
equipment on the boat, another 150 for equipment on the boat, and then 150 for equipment on the new engine, and then 300 for an ambulance.
For the demo,
Yes,
Yeah.
correct. Yes, David.
that was
is correct.
300, okay.
So we're gonna add 300,000 on for the ambulance?
Onto the 450, yes, ma'am.
Chief, are there getting to be a whole lot of sick people in this town? It's like you guys are running crazy.
When I started 20 years ago, so we did about 1,800 runs a year. We're pushing 5,000 now. And
I mean,
we've
it's crazy.
got- Our staffing has already went up to, and I know we best we can, but it's,
But
we're
you're-
running us ragged.
your baby
It's nothing
boomers,
to
your
have
largest
300
population group is at the age where they
Yeah.
require a lot of runs.
And I'm not saying you get a lot of stuff that doesn't need transport to, and that's not a Maysville problem, that's a global problem. Everybody thinks they get a ride to the hospital in an ambulance.
Yeah,
There's nothing you can do about it. Like, I can't tell somebody that they don't need to go to the hospital if they call, I have to take them.
Right.
Okay, so we good on the fire? Everybody good on those? All right, if you flip a couple over, you have, police department. Chief Palmer is looking at 2 Durangos for a total of 86.
What number is
It's
It's
still in
still
that same
the same
tab,
part.
it's just behind the fire department.
one more.
I think they're in there twice, Karen,
Okay,
so just
thanks.
ignore the second one.
that? Thank you.
So 86 for 2 Dodge Durangos, that's total. 30,000 to outfit those units. The Celebrite Digital Forensics, 40 grand annually. And then the MDT tablets that all have to be updated. Were you getting some already?
We've already got 8 of them.
So you've got 8, so what do you think that 72 would
Well, I
be?
got, that's 72.
That covers the rest?
Covers the rest.
Okay, covers the rest. Public safety, I mean, it's hard, you can't really
I'm okay with
compromise
that.
that. Okay.
Outfitting, what are you gonna be wrapping it,
No, that's lights.
lights and
sound
everything?
All that kind of stuff. I mean, that is, the nature of the beast, this stuff's
Yeah.
got expensive.
Like everything else?
Thank you, Chief Palmer.
see, gang, tab 5 is Public Works. There at the top, Luke has the chipper combo unit, and that's what you've been looking at for quotes, right? So if we went that route, if you go down to the middle of his page, we could cross off chipper truck with hopper. We can cross that one off.
Well,
Or go ahead.
now the chipper is what I quoted, so it's not with, it's not the combo.
Oh, it's not the combo, I'm sorry,
Yeah, it's
Luke,
not
I'm
the
sorry.
combo. So we would need a vehicle to pull the chipper.
Oh, okay, so you're saying cross off cross off the top one?
Yeah.
Okay, excuse me. So that top one, where it's got a 3 beside it, we can cross that one off. The next one down, zero turn mower, already purchased.
It's already been bought.
Can we mark that off?
You can mark that off, yes ma'am. Paint all 3 floors of one stop.
It's not been done yet, that was one of those we talked about we probably need to do.
And again, it goes back, Commissioner said, revenue producing.
You're gonna contract that out, aren't you, to get it done?
Are you trying to do that, I can't remember what we talked about, are you trying to do that before the end of the fiscal year or after? After, so the start of the new fiscal year, okay.
What I would like to do, that would be to contract it out. If we do it, I just think it would be very time consuming to pull the guys away from that, what they're regularly doing, so.
I agree.
Luke, you've got a lot of ones on here that you put as number 1.
Mhm.
Can you sort of do what we do with David and then go down through there?
If you go to that,
So I'll just tell you what to
Yeah.
go ahead and mark off.
yeah, there you go, that's what I was
That
gonna
I've
do.
already purchased. 2 new snow plows, that's already been purchased.
And the one above that, Luke, the trash cans and picnic tables, you already
Trash
did
cans
that.
and picnic tables are already bought. So they're paid for.
Where's that?
I think they're delivering next week.
You already got them scratched out.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think. Um,
Salt spreader, you've already, the one
salt
below
spreader
that,
Side by side is being picked up. We've already purchased
Mark that
it.
one off.
yeah.
I can't say there's been no transaction of money yet, but I've already told them.
And it'll be fine, it'll hit this year, even if it's a little bit after.
Chipper truck with the hopper.
That's the big one.
That's the one we're currently looking for.
Leave
what do
that
you-
on. Are you saying leave that on?
Yeah.
Yeah, and what do you think, Luke, in regards to a possible price on that?
So I've
Is
already got-
200,000 safe?
That would be safe. So I've already got a price on one chipper. It's a little bigger than the one we've got, same brand and all. It's like $67,000.
So we leave this one in?
Yeah, we've got that, we have to have it done.
Okay.
I'm not even driving the chipper trucks that we currently use as chipper trucks. Another transmission is acting up, so they're both standard. But anyway, the one, well, we've got currently 2 chippers, one that's operational, the other one's completely, it's not operational.
Okay. Keep going for 1.
Telehandler in a basket, that was one I would like to leave on there. That was one we talked about, we could utilize it for a lot of things. Currently, we're using the backhoe, what we would use that for, to put the docks in the river. You could put a basket on it to do Christmas lights, change out of lights down here, flags, banners, all that kind of stuff.
So that's an in, okay.
So, the next one, seasonal labor, I'd like to up it from $63,000 to $93,000, it'd be $30,000 increase. Currently, I hire about 6 seasonal help. That's a couple of guys that come back every year, and then 4 or so, 5 high school students, college students that come back. And right now, we're not gonna have much left. Once I pay them the rest of the year, there's not gonna be hardly any left. So I was wanting to up that just so, cause sometimes I have to pay for a seasonal guy to go to the cemetery. So, it's in Public Works, but they need another guy to weed. So,
That's in?
So is this in personnel? Does it need to be in this capital?
that budget will need to be upped.
Okay.
Yes, it will need to be upped.
But it's not in this budget, it will be.
Yeah, it would be in the next one, yes, ma'am.
Right, and that would just be an additional 30, not,
Yeah, just additional.
Yeah, because they're not getting benefits, so that's just straight labor, that's labor cost.
And that would just allow me to hire some more seasonal help. Zero turn for the flats, I marked it off, so it's off the list.
It's off.
Mark that off, okay.
Um,
Used pickup, you've got, you
yeah,
got that, that was the one from PD that got damaged,
yeah,
right?
we've already got a vehicle, we're repairing it to use, so
Where
we
you
don't
see
have to
that?
spend money.
It's
on
right
it.
under that zero
This?
turn in.
Okay, all right.
And then the hazmat storage, you've already,
The hazmat storage, we're gonna purchase,
for this fiscal year.
we've got the money.
So we'll mark
that one off.
that off.
As of right now, we are budgeting towards having the money to get some things that we need for that one.
Is that super duper important? That $40,000 for a storage cabinet seems like a lot of money for me, and
Wasn't that an OSHA deal? Didn't
Yeah.
they say
Yeah, we
something
don't
about
have a
that?
choice.
I know, but we don't have to keep those chemicals, do we? I mean, couldn't we just order them when we needed them instead of
So
keeping extras on hand or
what
whatever?
we keep on hand is the aerosol stuff, paint spray, oh gosh, like WD-40, all that kind of stuff for the mechanics. They all keep that stuff out there. Anything that's, I guess, in an aerosol can has to be in a locker.
Right.
If it's flammable, it should be in a locker. Even your barrel for your chainsaw or stuff like that. But yeah, they came in there a couple months ago and it was a suggestion. And $40,000, I'm not saying I'm gonna spend the $40,000. We're looking at probably
You mentioned, what, 25?
maybe closer to 20, but I think I have that now to spend though.
Yeah, we looked at that construction budget that we had and still left a cushion in there. If we got a lot of this stuff, so that he had a cushion to get to the end of the fiscal year for anything that might come up.
Okay.
So we're leaving that in?
It's all right, it's good, Ann, you can
It's
cross that
good,
one off,
okay.
yes, ma'am.
V-ditch bucket, cross it off, because we've decided that that's probably not the most important thing now.
You crossed off the next two too, didn't you? The snowplow box and the
Snowplow.
skid steer.
Yeah, both of those cross off. The snowplow box, I might have an alternate route on getting that.
And cross off the dump truck too?
No, that's the last
The
one.
dump truck we would need.
You need,
The snow plow and the skid steer.
okay, okay. Yeah.
We currently have one, and that's all we have. So if it goes down, then we're kind of in a bad position.
So you're back to the paint the 3/4 at the one stop, or the 3 people?
Yeah, those two are the last two on there.
Painting the floor, the one stop, or adding 3 people.
And,
No, I
and,
said
and,
and.
those- yeah, those are the
And.
last two you've got there.
Luke, you went silent on, you're down one, you'll be hurting if what goes down?
Oh, the dump truck. That's what I was talking about.
The last
So,
item,
Yeah, we have
Okay.
we currently have one dump truck.
right.
Big dump truck, I say. The smaller dump trucks, I think this one's like a 12,000 pound, it'll hold 12,000 pounds or whatever. So if we're down that one, it's used for snow plowing on the big routes. A hospital,
I got you, I couldn't hear you last time. Thank
So
you.
if it goes down, we're done for. It would take 2 small plow trucks to do what it does. But the other 2 there, you mentioned adding 3 more employees or painting the 3 floors on one stop, both of those things. I had the 3 employees at a higher priority than the one stop, just because, we currently, we have no vacancies, but as of tonight, but we still, we're still.
You still have 3 people out though, sick or,
No, well, I have one that's out currently.
but the others have come back since last meeting.
This is additional help, sorry,
No, no, you're fine.
Additional to what I already have.
I know you need it.
stay on that one first, and I'll come back to this.
Yeah, it would help tremendously, I feel like. We, I guess
I'm okay with it, cause I know.
we are
we
behind
need-
on some things that we shouldn't be behind on.
Right.
And it's just, we talk about it all the time, the flower beds downtown, signage, construction work, things like that, we're behind on all of it. So it would help tremendously.
I'm okay with it.
Okay. What I'd recommend on the one above is, I think we even touched on this at the last meeting, is take a look at that construction budget again this time next year and see if see if we've got some stuff left over and then go on and do that. And we could also keep an eye on the, public building maintenance and see if we would have anything in there.
So
Unless
you're-
you all wanna absolutely wanna do it
You're
now.
just putting a hold on it.
Yes, just to see if we have, kinda like what we did at the last meeting when Luke was going over that construction budget
Yeah.
and he had stuff left over that we could go on and do. Kinda do the same thing.
Do the
And look
other,
at that
put a
one.
hold on it.
Look at that one and say April or May.
Well, and I think he's done a good job at really trimming this
Yeah, I
down.
think
Yeah, he
and-
has.
too.
And I think that
Unless
what's
you want-
left on here is, I'm good with what's left on here.
Okay, that's fine.
I am too.
Okay. That works.
I think he's taken a lot off his
Yep.
budget to,
Thank you for the
To help.
effort that you put in on that.
good job.
All right,
So we're good with all of you.
yeah, let's go to the last one, but for what's going on and what's been going on, one that's very important, just like all the others, and that would be utilities. And Jeff, you gave it an updated budget. You got, give them that updated budget that you have there. And you stay up here if you don't care.
Yeah, will do.
Get that copies off here.
Okay. Right here.
This is just, this is updated.
We did take a couple things.
Yeah, yeah, that's good.
Absolutely.
You got one, yeah? Okay.
Jeff don't like you doing
You have an before we David? Thank you. Okay, when we met? We met yesterday
Yes, sir.
and looking at that capital project summary, and Jeff, you chime in whenever you need to.
Okay.
The two most important projects on there, actually three, would be 5, 6, and 7.
Yes,
Is that correct, Jeff?
that is correct, yeah. And we did get new quotes on, for the high service line number 6, high service line replacement. We had roughly estimated 3 million, but it's not gonna be, it's gonna be 1.6 million roughly. We had that from Matt Baker and Kentucky Engineering Group. The plan is to run behind Second Street, run a 24-inch redundant line back to our high service line. This last winter that was one of our big issues. We couldn't isolate that section because we have such a cluster of valves that are not working there and stuff, and we couldn't isolate the section, so that's why we had to shut the water plant down, try to fix it, and just, our reservoir couldn't hold up. We already have 12 main breaks at that point for that night, so, that's a big one for us. We would still keep the existing line that's right there, that's crossing the viaduct right there, in case of emergencies, but we would have valves on both sides, so we could isolate it, fix it, and, it would actually allow us to keep servicing the public.
So you're saying 6 is in, is that what you're saying?
I would suggest so, yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
5, 6, and 7.
Yeah, 5,
For
6,
sure.
yeah, those are absolutely the
Okay.
most important
Yeah.
No
ones.
problem.
And for like 5, for example, like Union Street line reconnection, we only have one spot that we're crossing over the railroad tracks. So if we have a water main break in that section, we can't get water from the water plant out to the rest of the area. So we would be, they're just capped off on both sides, we would reconnect them and go from there, so. And then, the Base County High School tennis court, that line is old, I guess, very old and
Well,
deteriorating.
and it's not, it doesn't have the capacity,
It does
does it,
not,
David?
yeah.
Or Jeff, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't interrupt you too, but, we would upgrade the line as well, I think, let me see here, from an 8-inch to a 12-inch, there's a lot more industry coming in that area as well, so,
Yes, and then it would handle extra commercial development on the
absolutely,
east
yes, sir,
and west.
yeah.
Okay. What else, Jeff?
Our filling river pump station, that is in dire need of like a total.
It's number 2.
Yes, number 2, yes, that one is, The plan is, this is a quote as well, it's upped a little bit from the other one, 475,000. It would be completely take out everything inside of it, put 2 isolation valves on both sides, and we'd have 3 new pumps.
Item 3.
Yes, sir, yeah. That one's,
Two.
or 2, yeah, sorry, I apologize,
Yeah.
number 2, yes, number 2.
And then you would go with
You
the
have
VF.
the same list we have?
Let me see what you got there.
Yeah, I think you did a new one, that's a new one. If you,
Let me see.
No, he doesn't have the same thing we do.
Yeah, take that. Keep that one for reference so you can see what you got.
And we've had a couple engineers look at it and stuff, and they're saying the same thing, it needs total rehaul for that pump station. That's how we pump out to 11 and everything out Maysville area, so.
Yeah.
It's a worrisome, we spent a lot of money on contractors,
So
so,
that's- You're saying that one's totally in.
That's important, yeah,
I think so.
That's important as well.
yeah. Yeah, we took the filter wall off from the last one, that one is not gonna be an issue going forward. We talked to a couple professionals about that, and we think we can hold off on that.
You took something off of it.
Yes, ma'am, it was number 1 on the previous capital improvements budget, was the filter wall.
Number 1 on that, if you'd like to use that as reference.
Yeah. And, yeah, it's not a necessity right now, so we took that one off.
That's number 1. Okay.
Oh, yeah, okay, so if you look, number 1 on the new one, the pre-settling waste wall repair, that one will probably be roughly 30,000, it won't be about 50,000 actually. Our wall, actually, during this winter time, we had our downspout was actually going on the crease of our pre-settling basin, and during the cold winter, the water got in there, froze, expanded it, and broke it apart. But I guess there's a way they can actually inject this kind of foam in there to reform it, and it's roughly about $30,000 to keep it stable. But if that went down, we would have that's our raw water right there intake, and it would be good for a water plant, so.
So you're saying keep number 1 on?
I would, yes.
Would
Okay.
make it 30,000.
It should be, yeah, roughly 30,000, what we got quoted at.
Okay.
Now, number 3, service truck acquisition. Our truck right now is a 2-wheel drive truck. It is barely going as is. Our response times, there's sometimes a truck wanting to start, and it's in a bad shape. We need either a new truck or, something similar, and everything we've looked at is roughly $70,000 for a full service bed, everything with that. And big time for response time. These guys go out there with the water main break, you gotta think about water loss. That's inventory pretty much for us, And so, yeah, that one's important as well, I believe.
So are you saying that's what you need more than any of the other on the list?
Well,
Yeah, look at
actually,
your other ones there.
yes,
Yeah, go
good
ahead,
point.
Jeff.
Yeah, probably actually more important for that is number 9, the return sludge pump replacement. That's for our Raswell. That's a return activated sludge pump, and that's what pumps back and feeds our clarifiers and everything else, and it keeps our bacteria going, and without our sewer plant can't run. So we wouldn't be able to treat our sewer.
So you're saying that definitely.
We definitely have to have that. And that's the 62,000, that's like the Flight brand, that's the Cadillac of it all. It might not cost that much, so it could be $10,000, $20,000 less than that, but that's just the upper number we have for that.
Would we keep the old pump for a replacement or emergency replacement or backup or anything?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And I'm sure they can work on it, stuff like that. We have a service specialist who deals with that, and
It seems like if it's about ready to break, I'd rather replace it while the other one's still working. And
Yes, sir.
we can have it for a backup.
yeah.
That's just me.
All right, where are we at now? Next one, I would say the Bobcat, or something similar to that. At our sewer plant right now, we have a 30-year-old backhoe that we're using. We have forks on there. They're picking up our parasitic acid, which is what we treat our sewer water with at the very end in our contact basin, and it's just dangerous. I don't know how we've not had any injuries or anything before this. This parasitic acid is very corrosive and can hurt our guys. So we need something that can actually pick this stuff up, put it on there in our pellets, and as well as our drying beds, we have a whole bunch of sludge in our water basin at the water plant that we're gonna have to transport over to the sewer plant, put in our drying beds, dry it out, and that Bobcat will allow us to get in there actually with it and do work that we need to do.
Okay, I got one.
I'm just gonna ask.
Yeah.
Do you think you can find a good used one?
It's a good question. I haven't really priced used ones very much. I know guys that are a little bit more expertise, they said they would prefer a new one. 'Cause this would last us a long time.
I'm just trying to.
Yeah, we could look into it for sure. Yeah, we could look into it.
I think you should look
Okay.
into that
Okay.
and see,
Yes, ma'am.
because there might be other things on this list you need
Absolutely.
absolutely is much more than that.
Yeah.
Maybe you could trim your budget.
Yeah,
to
we could
get
do that.
these other
We could
two.
do that. Absolutely.
Okay,
A nice used one I've seen, you're looking at probably 50,000.
Okay. Yeah, we could check into that for sure.
You don't get some warranty from the.
And that's true too.
Yeah.
And we would use this on the water side as well, you know, cleanup work and stuff like that too. So it would be both departments that would be using it, so. But we can check into it though.
okay.
Probably this is actually, this probably should have been higher up, 2 water plant operators for safety reasons. Yeah, right now we only have, you know, we 24/7, we have somebody at the water plant. But we would love to have somebody, a second person at night shift, to cover night shifts with, so we have 2 people there at all times. I mean, it's an old building, there's stairs, and we have some older gentlemen that work with us, and it would just be a really good idea, I think, to have that. And as well, we could cross-train, have them, if we have water leaks out, we could send them out too, for distribution crew. I mean, there's a lot of area we could use them for.
But you feel like that's a safety issue?
I do, for sure. It's definitely a safety issue, yeah.
Does everybody think about that?
What else would they
I
do
think-
besides just be at the water plant?
I mean, there's times where they'll have to go in the high service pump building, and, I mean, someone's taking samples for the lab. I mean, there's a lot of work there, and then maybe we could do some maintenance at the same time. There's a lot of preventive maintenance issues that we could deal with, you know, as well, like say if we had a water main break, maybe think about the distribution crew if they're not busy, so,
I mean, that would make it easier for me, knowing that they might be used somewhere else.
absolutely.
And not just to
Yeah.
hire them just in case the first guy falls down some stairs. I mean, I
Right.
think that's a pretty, you can call it a safety issue if you want to, but I think that's the exception rather than the rule that somebody's gonna have a heart
Understand.
attack and then there's gonna be nobody there. I mean, it'd be cheaper to get life alert or, you know, I think there'd be different fixes for that, you know, maybe put cameras inside the water plant so we could see if they're okay, but
Okay.
if you think they could be used elsewhere,
Yeah, I think we all are really trying to cross-train a lot more too in our departments and stuff like that. And yeah, I mean, they would be a huge help for our distribution crew. We got 6 guys only in our distribution crew, you know, and it would be a huge help, absolutely. And we could kind of make that a job requirement almost, even if that's, you know, part of it, so.
Sounds good.
And the last one I would say would be the garage insulation heating. This is at the sewer plant. We don't have anything. This is where we store our vac truck at. Our vac truck, you know, it sometimes holds water in there, and we spend a lot of money on the vac truck. It would be horrible for something to bust on there, and it'd be easier for the guys to work in. And so yeah, and that's too high too. We got one quote for about $10,000 to insulate the whole entire thing. So, you know, other than a heater, probably get a couple $1,000s for a decent heater, and you know, I think that would be adequate. So we could definitely cut down
So the
there.
40,000, you're down to that, what?
Yeah, I would.
I'd drop it to 15 just in case.
Okay, okay,
I would.
yeah,
Take
that
Give you a
works,
little
40 out
cushion.
to 15.
Yeah,
Yes.
I would give you a little, give a
Yeah.
little cushion there.
absolutely. And part-time laborers, I think we've taken care of that, I believe. I'm not sure if we need to put this in the
Good.
budget or not, so,
You good on that one?
yeah, I think we're
Okay.
good on that one.
You can take that off.
Yes, ma'am.
before.
So the only one I didn't really get an answer on was the service truck acquisition.
I think-
And the Bobcat, the service truck and the Bobcat. Thoughts there?
I'm
think
good, if it needs it, I'm good with it.
I am too.
We do need it, yes, ma'am, yes, sir.
All right. I think you're
I
done.
think that's all of them on
You're
there,
done.
so.
All right. Let's go back to, and again, I thank you all, and I will put those numbers together.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah,
Thank you,
thanks,
guys.
Jim.
Appreciate it.
And everybody, the department heads, thank you very much. You go back to the budget overview. That second page, a recommended pay raise, flat 4% across the board to employees. We're still struggling in areas in regards to recruitment and retention. And I'd welcome Chief Palmer to chime in, but you wanna kind of go over your situation?
I've been your chief for 3 years. And I've taken on some pretty good challenges, and I've had a challenge since last July that's been short. I've had short 4 people. Every time I get a step forward, I take a step back. We are losing good officers, senior officers to agencies that pay more money than we do. We are losing officers to retirement. I am asking you for your help to help me retain these officers. And the only way I can retain these officers is to pay them more money. And that's officers and that's dispatch. You know, I was very fortunate to hire 2 individuals a month or so ago. Come in Tuesday morning, one of them's already quit. I've got another officer that's retiring. I got his letter yesterday. And I got another officer that has got a soft job offer from the Department of Homeland Security. I am losing people left and right. And I'm losing them left and right because you can't pay them the money that they deserve, that they need. And I need an answer. I need something that will help me retain these officers and help me with these younger officers, that they go out and brag about working for the Maysville Police Department because they're making a fair wage. You know, I appreciate the fact of the 3% for some of these individuals last year, but then I had a fight with 8 or 9 of my individuals that didn't get that raise because they're senior officers or senior employees. You know, I don't want to retire. I love my job. I've sacrificed 23 years with City of Maysville, and I love every single minute of it. But I could retire just like these other guys. I had a guy retire last year, begged him to come back. After his 30 days, I begged him to come back. He said, why would I come back there when I can go over here and make $37 an hour as a retired officer? I can't fight that. I have no answer for that. You know, I enjoy the problems that I am faced with as the chief of police. They're very good challenges, but I'm looking at you to help me solve this problem because we have to retain our officers. If we don't retain officers, I mean, it's bad enough right now. I had a meeting with my executive staff. Come mid-January or mid-July, there's not going to be too much admin going on at the police department because we're all going to be covering shifts on the street. And that's a fact. I had a meeting with my detectives today, one of which I got his retirement paper. And he's retiring. You know, I'm having to pull them out. I'm going to have a meeting with my officers probably next month because they're going to be doing their own investigations. It's a safety issue. It's a mental well-being issue. Since January 1, we've got over 2,064 overtime hours. That's over $79,000. I don't get paid overtime. But I'm going to be working a shift as soon as my shoulder heals up and I can put a vest on. We have got to do something as a city for public safety, for citizen safety, so when they call, the police is going to be there. We've got to sort this out and figure out how to do it. Because we have got to retain these officers, and we've got to retain the young ones as well as the old ones.
Are we kind of in a doom loop, though? No matter how much we pay, there's always going to be bigger money in Northern Kentucky or Lexington?
I wouldn't say it's a doom loop, but I'd say a lot of them got disgruntled last year. I'd say it's a loop to where we're losing officers that we've trained to these other agencies. You know, I think that if we could come with and it's not just police, it's dispatch too, I'm losing people there. But if we come with a solution to where, hey, we're paying, I don't want to drive an hour to make X amount more. I can do it right here in Maysville. And I know it's tough, but it's something we have got to do because if you take a look at the big picture with what we can retire by next year, you could be down at least 7 to 8 officers. I'm mandated by policy to have 3 on the street. Right now, I might have a lieutenant, a sergeant, and an officer, when I should have a sergeant and 4 officers, or 3 officers on a shift. Help me help my people. That's, you know, if I need to beg for it, I'll beg for it. But help me help my people because I can't fight this battle of retention when it comes to finances and money. Because we've got to keep these good officers.
What about the stress on the officer for the overtime? I mean, is this taxing them?
You know, we're taking away from family time, we're taking away from stuff. You know, I had one of my officers ask me the other day, maybe we need to quit doing all this parades and car shows. I said, we're in the public safety business. We don't have that option. We have to do it. We have to figure out how to do it. You know, I don't have an option to say, Caroline, I ain't doing your parade because I ain't got the people to do it. you figure it out. Because it's the public safety business, that's what we're in. You know, we see it as supervisors, I'm sure you folks see it as well, but don't you think for 1 second, the bad crop sees it as well too. Everybody sees it. It's gonna affect the safety of my officers, and it's gonna affect the safety of the citizens here in Maysville. And I'm asking for your help somehow. Let's put our heads together and beat against the wall or do something, but we've got to retain our senior employees, and encourage, you know, the younger employees. I had one, it's a good kid, he said, yeah, I'll come, $27 an hour. That's way above what I can start with now. I can't do that. I'd love to be able to do that, but I can't do that. So it's a challenge, and thank you for listening to me about this challenge, and again, I sincerely, hey, help me help them.
I think one of the issue that everybody's facing is the fact that not only has equipment and materials gone up in price in the past 5 years, wages, employees have gone up. They've gone up. There's not a retirement system here for somebody to hook onto in Tier 3. People are shopping. They don't have to stay with one group. They're shopping to the highest bidder. It's a fact.
It's become more of a job now than a calling. The retirement system is, I would say, garbage. And if you have a younger officer or an older officer, you know, I had one officer, you saw in my notes, he's got 12 plus years and was trying to go to another agency to make more money. He's given up a lot of loyalty to the city to do that, but, you know, I don't know the answer. You know, that's why I'm presenting to you today.
You know, it's a retention issue. You know, you've had a lot of turnover this year in your department. I know Jeff has as well. But guys and gals, you know, if we're looking at a $12.9 million deficit and we have $14 million in reserves, we're not gonna make it. So we have three options. We either cut staff, we reduce services, or we do a combination of both. Or 4, you raise revenue. I mean, you know, if we lose that contingency fund, we're gonna have to reduce personnel and cut services. They're all working bare bones right now in the big 4 departments. We're not gonna have anything in the tank. And I'm just gonna give you some examples on revenue increases. Just gonna give you examples. Doesn't mean we have to do them, but we have got to think about it. Well, we're not gonna make it. If you were to raise the payroll tax from 1.99 to 2.1, that would generate $387,000 a year. If you raise it to 2.25, it would generate $914,000 a year. If you raised it to 2.49, it would generate almost $1.8 million a year. If you increase the insurance premium from 8% to 9%, you get an extra $162,500 a year. If you raise that to 10%, you get an extra $325,000 a year. Going back to the payroll tax, a person making $50,000 a year, if you raise that to at 1.99, they get paid twice a month, 26 times a year, every 2 weeks, that's $38 out of their paycheck. At 2.25%, that's $43 extra out of their paycheck. And at 250, it's $48. Going over to the utility side, you know, right now we're looking at $4.5 million transfer from the city to the utilities. We are currently paying $880,000 a year in loan repayments to KIA. We have 3 different loans that we're paying on. Something we might want to think about in order to get all these lines fixed, replaced. We currently have, one of our loans was a balance of $11 million. We got that back before COVID at 2%. That's 700, that's a payment excuse me, that 880 is per month, sorry. One loan itself is almost $700,000 a year. No, it is, I'm sorry, it is $880,000 a year. That 11 million, so if we were to take out another $11 million loan, we could get a lot of stuff done, a lot, especially with these lines. But, you know, at 2%, we're looking at almost $700,000 in a loan repayment. And this one goes for, this is a 20-year loan. We have issues everywhere, not only from staffing, but utility department, retaining individuals, and the fact that we're gonna burn through this contingency. Quick. Very quick. So it's, you know, we have to either start looking at cutting individuals, which is gonna cut services, or raise revenue, or a combination of both. We really have to look at this very, very seriously, or we're gonna be broke.
So our expenses go up every year. When was the last time on each of those things that we increased to the public?
Well, obviously last year we did that's why I didn't bring it up. We did the occupational license.
The gross receipts.
Gross receipts from $75 to $100, which I believe was estimated at about $325,000 extra a year. The payroll tax, I believe we increased in 2017 from 1.95 to 1.99, very minimal. About the same time we did the insurance premium from 7% to 8%.
And what about the water rate?
Water has not gone up. All we're doing with water is CPI. Sewer rates went up in roughly, I think it was 11, 12, and 13, somewhere around there, 15% each year. That was to pay for these KIA loans. We were mandated by
We had to pay
KIA
that, yeah.
to raise our sewer rates in order to pay back those loans. Our water rates haven't gone up. You know, they're pretty stagnant, or they have been. If you looked at a 5% increase on water rates, $220,000 a year. 10% increase, $441,000 a year. 15%, $661,000. 20%, $882,000, and a 25% increase, $1.1 million. A 25% increase, Jeff, am I reading this correctly, would take the base rate of what, $28.49 to $35.61.
Yes, sir. That's on the water side.
That's just on water. It's just on water. 4,000 gallons a month, minimum?
Yeah, that's average,
Average, okay.
for family of four.
So we have to think about this.
So what are you talking about with the sewer for that?
I'm not talking anything about the sewer. I mean, sewer rates are our biggest problem right now, as everybody knows, is our water lines.
Yeah.
That's our biggest problem.
Yeah.
And we're gonna have, I know Vic, you asked me about that, we're gonna have the same problems last winter, or this coming winter that we had last winter. We are. Until we start, you know, it's gonna take millions of dollars to fix all this aged infrastructure. It is.
Well, from a water perspective, it seems like we've been breaking even in that department for as long as we've been in existence, and there's no reason that we have to break even, especially when we have all this work to do. So, I mean, I concede for one that there's gonna have to be an adjustment of water and sewer rates.
Well, the thing is, Andrew, we're not breaking even. I mean, we're looking at a transfer of $4.5 million for next fiscal year, and that still leaves a $100,000 deficit in the utility department. My point is, if we keep transferring $4.5 million a year, not to mention all the other capital items that need to be done in the other departments, contingency is gonna be gone. It's gonna be wiped out. In a matter of just a few years. So we have to seriously think about what direction we're gonna go in, and what are we gonna do? Everything that the men and women in here presented to you, just about everything, those are needed projects. Their infrastructure, their public relations, their economic development,
Safety.
safety, yeah.
Well,
And then even what he's mentioning there, you know, we have the best public safety departments in the country, if you ask me. I think everybody would agree, and if somebody's got a gun trying to break in my house and I can't get an officer to respond, that's not good. And the fact that Chief Palmer and Major Conley shouldn't be out having to cover on shifts. They're administrators. Are they gonna do what needs to be done? Absolutely. But they're also not gonna get compensated for it. And they don't have the time to take comp time.
and it's not right of us to expect them to do
Not at
that.
all.
And I
They do
feel
a great job. We know, everybody, you all know that. They do a wonderful job. We all know
feedback that I've received, I think this commission needs to think about that 3% that they withheld last year. That really, I think, demoralized, especially the people that provided the leadership, that, and the police department is a perfect example of that, where we've lost officers with experience and leadership because I don't think, well, what they say to me is they don't feel supported by this commission. I think we really need to think about that too, and addressing that and repairing it.
I appreciate your all's time tonight. I really do, and everybody in here who stuck around. I really appreciate it. Everybody has been, you know, I've told you all this, even though we've been out of comptroller since February. This has been great for me, because I have really had to look at this stuff more than I ever had in the past. It's been really good for me, and I appreciate everybody here who sat down with me and helped me with it. You guys have been great. I'm gonna take what we've done tonight. I'm gonna get you an updated overview sheet. But between now and our next meeting, we've got to really think about what we're gonna do. And guys, these are facts. I mean, this is the situation we're in. It's the situation we're in. And we knew that his department was gonna be vital after what we've experienced in the past year. But we've got to find solutions so that we don't run out of money. It's just a simple fact. And I think we all gotta put our heads together, and we've gotta come up with solutions. The 5 of you up there and all of us in here, we've gotta come together and what can we do to keep moving the city forward?
Thank you for all the effort and work that you put in.
Oh, and I will be touching base with you all tomorrow on a special meeting. I know Commissioner Wood is gonna be out for a week or 10 days. He's taking his laptop with him, so we'll zoom him in, but we need to go on and come back. It won't take me long to put these numbers together and look at that, because we're gonna have, yes. We're still gonna we have to have 2 readings on the budget and on the pay scale. So we're gonna have to do, and we can do those, we can do one on a Tuesday and one on a Thursday. We just have to have 24 hours in between. So I will touch base with everybody tomorrow.
Thank you. Anything else to come before this commission?
Nope. Motion to adjourn.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Cartwell?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner McKay?
Yes.
Mayor Cottrell?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you all.